Hey guys, it's April 14th, a little chilly. We're going to do something interesting here. We're going to prune 4 different trees. This is a young lace leaf maple. Come on up a bit. All I want to show you here is, can you see the buds, how they're breaking? See how big they are? After this video, I'm going to go show you another Japanese maple that's not doing this and prune it severely to help stimulate it. This was planted about 3 or 4 years ago, so it's doing really well. Okay, now we're going to come over here. This is a Kuza dogwood, Kuza with a kiss. It's Venus is the cultivar. It has big flowers, really beautiful flowers. So I'm looking at it, and it's just, now last year it did grow 3 or 4 inches, but again, this has been here 4 or 5 years. It's just not doing what it should be doing. So I want to stimulate growth, right? So what's the universal response to pruning? Stimulating growth. So what I'm going to do is start limbing this up a little bit. So I'm just going to cut these. Again, I'm identifying my bark ridge, my collar, my shoulder. Ooh, got stuck in the mud. I'm gonna come around to this side. Remember, what side you prune on is important. So you can get your pruners close up, right? If I was on the other side, it wouldn't be close, but this way, it's right on the shoulder. 2 more. I'm really worried about it. I think I mentioned this, it's in the disease and insect class, but can you see the lichens on the trunk? You see the little gray things? Normally those aren't considered bad, but I have seen, and I've heard talk to other people in the trade that say that sometimes when they see this many on a tree, it's not a good sign, and I tend to agree with that. I'm doing a couple cuts now with stuff that's growing back inward. Other than that, for now, I'm going to leave it. I've lost my central leader, so I can't develop that. We're going to go to another one and talk about that. Okay, we're going this way. You want to go on that side? Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty severe on that Kuza, but I needed to do something. Okay, so this is a tree that has opposite or sometimes sub-opposite leaf arrangement. Some of you may know it. The leaf looks a lot like a redbud. This is Katsura. It's a cultivar called Claim Jumper that has beautiful yellowish foliage, apricot foliage in the spring. Doesn't get as big as standard Katsura, that's why I put it here. I want a little shade on the south side of the Zendo. But so here's my fear, right? Young tree, my 2 primary goals, maintain a central leader and start to develop a framework, right? The other thing that I didn't make you learn, but we did talk about in lecture is lowest permanent branch. So eventually, right, when this tree grows up, these have a very strong vase-shaped habit. You can already see it. None of these branches will exist up until probably here, right? Over time, we'll limit up, we'll limit up, we'll limit up. But right now, what I'm worried about is maintaining a central leader. So if I look up here, remember opposite leaf arrangement, I got 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove one of them. Katsura is also notorious for having narrow crotch angles. So what I did, right, is I had 2 codominant central leaders. I removed one completely to promote just the one central leader, right? The rest of these, for now, this thing's growing like crazy again because of last year's wet year, but I don't know how well you can see it. Basically, for now, I'm going to take the small ones because they're never going to really develop into anything. They're in the center of the plant. This one's already dead. I'm going to come down. Again, I keep wanting to stimulate growth, so I'm going to thin some of these, but in the back of my mind, I just know, hey, most of these branches are all going to be gone in 10 years. I'm going to limb them all up. So I'm going to start developing like framework. Like here, I don't need 2 branches this close together. So I'll take one. Remember our guideline for shade trees was 18 to 24 inches apart? I can't do that now. It's a young tree, but eventually they'll be that way. So maybe I'll demonstrate it now on this particular plant. Yeah, that works. So here I have 2 close together. So I'm going to take the lower one, and now I have these 2 for future scaffold branches. I'm going to come down here. Again, I got some small ones, so I'm always taking the small ones first, and then I'll evaluate what I want to do. So if I look at this, I'm not liking these. This is a narrow crotch angle. These got to come out now. We know long term we're going to cut them, but can you see the included bark? I don't know if you can see that or not. But there's included bark there on both of these. So we'll just go ahead and take them now. Even though, remember, we know long term we're going to take them anyways. And so now it would just be silly to leave this guy, right? Now here I've got 3 branches coming out at once. I'm going to go ahead and take this one. Now I don't know, since she's close with the camera, can you see these latent buds? Look, they're breaking, right? These are old buds, probably 5 years old, and they're actually starting to break, it looks like. Remember the Katsura tree we saw at Stranahan Arboretum that had old latent buds? These are breaking. So for now, what did I take off? I'm looking at my pile. I got about 6 branches. I don't want to stimulate too much because I don't want weak crotch angles. Again, like here, I got a branch pointing inward. I don't know that I really care about that because eventually this branch is going to be gone. I see this in here as being my long-term. These are the lowest branches I'll have on the tree. I'm going to go ahead and take one more row up. Nice shoulder on this. Nice bark ridge. You can see the collar underneath. Just outside that, right? That's our rule. It's cut just outside. I'm actually rubbing these little latent buds off because I don't want them to turn into branches this year. I'm trying to limb the tree up. So I can literally just strip those buds right off. No buds, no meristematic tissue, no growth. That's good for now. Starting to limb up a bit. Okay, let's go to another one. This one up here is a mess. It's a tree with, no, we're going to keep going. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a tree with green stems. Some of you may remember, what are our 3? Box elder, sassafras, and Sephora japonica, Japanese pagoda. So this tree, quite a few of them back here. Again, were planted 4 or 5 years ago, and regretfully, I just have not come back and done some stuff. I don't know if the view would be better from over there or not, but. So I've got all kinds of nasty going on. I got this really low branch. It's got to come out. Sephora tends to be very vase shaped. I got a lot of stuff. So now this is a tree, right? We're going after our 6/10 types of wood. The triple D, dead, dying, diseased. Water sprout suckers and epicormic shoots. Inward growing, crossing, broken, and narrow crotch angles. So I'm looking at that. This is way past training a central leader, right? We're past that, unless I got really crazy with it. And again, Sephora typically doesn't have a central leader anyways. So let me see how well. This may not go well because we're trying to do this all so fast. But I'm going to try and prune this bottom one and get it out of my way. So I'm just getting these branches. I don't care how I'm cutting them. What I'm trying to cut off is this, right? And my problem right now is there's no way I can fit my saw in here, correct? To be honest, for this cut, I'd probably like a straighter saw. So I'm going to have to cut from the underside. I don't know if you can see from over here, Janice. So again, narrow angle of attachment. I'm going to try and pull this a bit. See how it separates? So that's not even one until down here. So again, I probably shouldn't race through this, but I'm going to try and see if I can cut this. I'm trying to figure out where they actually attach, and it's pretty low down. Hold on. Let's get rid of some weight on the top. So I have a little more control. There we go. Let's try again. There's my cut. I'm trying to angle it up. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get in there. As I say, I'm trying not to cut into the trunk. I still got a little room on the back I can cut. Come on, drop out. Just about there. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see if it pops. No, it doesn't want to pop. So I'm going to get my pruners. I'm going to cut it rough. Maybe. Ow. I'm going to cut it rough and then come back and try and clean it up. So you can see, right, that was all the way down to 1. be able to finish this in this video. Oh, perfect. How about that? So that's a nice clean cut, and that should heal pretty well. I'm on the shoulder. Good. Surprised that worked on live. No edited video. So now we gotta look at the rest of it. Remember, green stems, I see brown. That's dead. This one's dead. One problem with Sephora is it can have death like this. So I would have to go through, there's a lot, well, it's easy to tell because they're brown, but so inward growing, half of it's dead. It's not completely dead. This is a worthless branch. This is still alive, but again, it's growing. At this point, I'm going with a 3-trunk tree. Dead, dead, dead. Again, I'm always putting my blade toward the branch. Dead. Let me go back over here so she's got the right camera angle. This one's growing up through the middle of all the other ones. So that's inward and crossing both. That happens a lot. This one's clearly inward growing. Dead, dead. Here, I don't think you can see it, but I have 2 branches. If I pull it sideways, this is silly. I have 3 of them. Remember in one of the other videos I said, well, sometimes when you have this, you take the one in the middle. So let's go ahead and do that and see what we think. That's better. I eliminated the crossover. Let's go back though and talk about the other trees, right? Long term, is this branch even gonna be here? No. Long term, I'm gonna have these 3 trunks probably up in here. But for now, I'm gonna leave that because it's alive. This one's inward growing, in crossing, dead, dead. Inward. This one's a decision. I don't know if you can see it. It's crossing big time up there with what's gonna be a future branch. So I'm just gonna take that, but I'm gonna need my loppers. So I could take the whole thing, but for right now, I'm gonna just take that one. Remember, I can always cut again, but I can't glue it back on. So I'm gonna take that one out. And one of the reasons I wanted to leave this one is it does give me something back here that if I eliminated it would not. Again, I'm gonna leave this one long term. This will be gone. Mowers would appreciate it, right? Because sitting on a riding mower, you're probably gonna whack your head on that. But I'm gonna leave that for now. I might not be able to get too much more without a pole pruner or a dead, dead, live, live, dead. Needless to say, I could go through the dead for a while here. Let me take a look. Let me step back and look at it. I haven't done anything up top yet. So far, all we've done is down lower. We got most of the inward. There's an inward, but I can't reach that. Hold on. What time are we up to, Janice? Can you tell?
Over 13 minutes.
Huh?
Over 13 minutes.
Oh boy. Okay. We'll finish with this one then. I had one more, but. So I know no matter what, I want to get this thing out of here. It's growing up through the middle. I have 3 branches coming out of one spot on the stem. I don't want that. So I'm going to try and make this one from underneath. So my anvil is not toward the trunk. Pull it out. Pull it out, maybe. Ah, there's a grapevine in there that caught me. Get rid of that. There we go. So look at this mess right here. I have 1 big branch, 1, 2 medium, 1, 2, 3 small. That's got to go, right? Long term, that's going to be a disaster area for narrow crotch angles. So I've got one back here that I just damaged when I took off that branch, and it's growing inward. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then let's see. I think we'll take, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this from this position. I'm not. Hold on. This all takes time. Ooh, now the sun's in my eye. Nope, can't get it from that side either. That's not good. I wonder if I can get my loppers in there. Hold on. One more and then